So we're all here today. Rich was just
Yay.
talking about how he beat Indiana Jones in the Circle of Jerk.
Yes. The Great Circle? The Great Circle.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. The Great Circle Jerk.
So how was it, Rich? Good game?
It was really good. I don't want to give away the ending, but the ending set piece is amazing. I think it's already known that Tony Todd plays one of the main characters, like one of his last roles, and he's really good. He was also the guy that played Candyman, going back to some B horror stuff, and he was in The Crow. That big tall,
right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So he's got a great voice, and then they give him a great role to do. The guy who plays Harrison Ford, who's not Harrison Ford, does a real good job. And what I think I like about it most, or what surprised me most, is it's not an action game. Like, you have a gun, but you barely use it. If you do use it, you're going to die. It's stealth, but it's not stealth. It's almost like a point and click adventure game, but redone in a first person shooter modern way.
So
it's more puzzle solving and just get to point A to point B. I don't even want to call it a visual novel because you do more action than a visual novel, but it's definitely more of an interactive story than it is an action game. Like I said, it's very adventure-y.
So it's like a linear storyteller.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It gives you stuff to go get. Like, you can go raid other tombs. But it's not as actiony as the Tomb Raider games are. It was good though. It was like a good Indiana Jones movie that you're interactive, a good interactive Indiana Jones movie.
And I was going to ask you that, like, sometimes, like, those games, there's a bit of a drawback because you kind of are walled in, but the story is what brings you in and what keeps you going. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah, it was cool. And I tried Googling the Great Circle to see if it was a real thing, and I don't think it is. But they kind of tie it into something cool at the end.
As long as it's not the Crystal Skull.
It's not no aliens. And it's always good punch. You're punching both fascists and Nazis in this.
Ooh, two of my favorite things to punch.
Italian fascists and German Nazis.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Crystal Skulls as well, Bob.
No, the Crystal Skull can't be anywhere near it anymore.
There is the only person that, like, from the movies that appears in this other than Indiana Jones is Marcus Brody.
Okay.
So you don't get like anybody else.
Well, that's good. It's good to know that that's good because I want to play that for the PS5. I just haven't gotten around to it. So
I was about to ask, what system did you play that on, Rich?
It was the PS5, and I wanted to play that before I kind of got started on anything new. So it was important that I got through that because it took me a while. Like, I got it as soon as it came out for the PS5, and because it's hard finding time, especially at work. It's been a little weird too for me too. So hopefully it's either going to die down or speed up. It's hard to say what's going to happen. We're getting rid of an outsourced group. It's just weird stuff at work. Yeah, it was fun. Indiana Jones was a good excursion.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually just finished, well, not just, but very recently finished Harry Potter and the Hot Dog Flavored Water, also known as Hogwarts Legacy. Played that on the PS5, finished that. It was a real good game. It was, like I said, I didn't give any money to that turf bitch, J.K. Rowling. I bought it secondhand, so I didn't have to give her any of my money, which is definitely a bonus. But it was a super fun game. Definitely kept me occupied. I can still go back, and there's still some stuff that I like, side quest stuff I didn't do that I might go back to eventually. But for now, I'm putting it aside to concentrate on the Switch too.
Yeah,
is there an online component to that too, right?
No, it's one of those games where you have to be connected online for some reason, but there's no online component.
Okay. I want to try. I knew it was like something about being the online realm. I just didn't know.
Yeah, which I normally won't buy those games, but again, I got it secondhand. It was like $20, and I can trade it in. So It's, it's not going to be a permanent addition to my collection because, you can't, it's not, once they shut down whatever server or whatever, I'm not going to be able to play it anyway. So,
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to open up our own and we can hack it. And then we can really just rename it, Harry Potter and hot dog flavored water.
yeah.
Harry Potter is going to be Fred Durst, and yeah.
Chocolate starfish.
Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
So I was trying to think of a roll and pun, and I can't.
No, I haven't been playing a whole lot lately. I did. I threw this in our chat. I bought Oblivion Remastered finally. I got it for a decent price. I still think I overpaid. There's no physical release, so it's all digital. So stomaching $40 for a digital remaster of a game that came out 20 years ago is still kind of tough to swallow, particularly when all the bugs are supposedly still there, which I've run into a couple. Don't get me wrong, they still are there. And it's also tough for me because I'm such a Skyrim fan, and I played every iteration therein of Skyrim for many, many years now, that it was tough for me to go back. But it's still cool. It is really pretty. They did clean it up. The graphics look great. But yeah, it is a little buggy. But kind of in the point Rich was talking about with Indiana Jones, even though Oblivion's like very open world, you still kind of are stuck back in that story where you just want to keep on going without really wandering around too much. Which is funny because that's what I do with Skyrim a lot, is like I'll just kind of wander, like it's a GTA world. And Oblivion, I feel myself kind of like walling myself in a little bit more just because the storyline is so good. They do a nice job with it. But no, it's been fun playing on PS5. I don't have anything terribly negative to say about it. Played it for several hours over the last couple days, and it's it's been good. I just again, tough to swallow at $40. I mean, for a digital copy of a 20-year-old game.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'll probably eventually I'll get it. The talk of the bugs with new bugs that have been introduced and stuff has kind of cooled me off on it. Like apparently there's some game breaking stuff at certain points. So for me to spend $40 on it when I've got other stuff that I'm playing right now anyway, I'm gonna sit and I'll probably wait till like Black Friday or something, because they'll when all the big sales happen during the holidays, somebody will put it on sale.
That'll be a $20 title Black Friday,
Yeah.
I figured I'd wait for my kids to play it so they can really. That's what they like to do is crash games. So they'll find ways to do it.
Nice.
But I take it real slow. I'm trying to play it, and I'm trying to play it as straight as I possibly can because I just want to hear the story and hear what people have to say. And the funny thing is, though, sometimes there is that little hiccup, and you hit something, and you're like, wait, I thought I did this. I thought I got up out of the chair or the stool. Whoops, I just stole the thing at the bar. Well, crap, now they've got a bounty after me. And it's like, I didn't mean to steal your plate. Come on, I hit the wrong button. I was just trying to get out of my chair. But,
nobody wants your damn cup.
No, and the one thing, though, that is a big difference from Skyrim that I completely forgot about it, was that the books, or some of the books anyway, in Oblivion are so much longer. They're 80-page books, which Skyrim doesn't have really anything more than 6 or 7. They're not very long. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's like, yeah, if I wanted to, I could just open it up and sit there and read a book. Probably not going to, but
no, I can't tell you. God, when I played that game, I think I picked up books and I would see how many pages it was. If it was more than like 3, I'm like, all right, yep, yeah, whatever.
Anyhow, but now that's been what I've been up to. So,
Rich, did you ever play Oblivion?
I was just looking to see when it came out. I think I got a copy with a video card. It was either that or Morrowind, and I don't remember which one it was, but I never played it. And I bought Skyrim 3 times, and I think I've played it for a total of 3 hours. So I think I have it for the Switch, the PSVR, and that might be it. No, I must have it for something else too. Maybe just the regular PlayStation. Yeah.
I bought it for the PS3, the 4. I bought the redone special edition that was basically right as the 5 had come out. The VR version. I bought it for the Switch, which I've talked about a few different times on here, strictly so I could use the Zelda amiibos on it. And some of those iterations of buying it, you could buy the deluxe edition, you could buy this. So yeah, I bought it 6 or 7 different times. So yeah.
I don't think I ever paid full price. I think like when I bought it, it was cheap because I bought it like years after it came out anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember buying it the first time. It was probably for the PS3. It had probably been out for a little while already. So I don't remember sinking $50-$60 into it the first time around. And I want to say that every time I bought it outside of maybe the VR version was probably definitely not full price. It was probably either on sale or it was an upgrade. So it was, cheaper. And the Switch version, I don't think was ever full price, like Switch game. I think it was cheaper. Of course, it'd been out for so many years at that point too. I don't know, but Bob, I know you've been Switch 2, and Rich, I know you got a Switch 2 as well. So I don't know if you've been able to crack into that.
I did. I haven't played much of it, but I have got through. I've played through the 50cc circuit. There were all the. Yeah, I beat the game with 50cc, so I got through the Rainbow Road and all the special courses and everything. So yeah, I'm trying to unlock skins, characters. I don't know. They're kind of like they're just different costumes, but they appear on the character screen, which is kind of dumb.
Yeah, no, I agree
Kind
with
of
that.
gives the idea who you need to go through to get.
Yeah, but what do you? So I mean, we did the day that I got the Switch 2. We did a little episode and kind of went through stuff. What were your first thoughts on it? What were your first impressions of the Switch 2?
Well, I first I want to say I wasn't planning on getting it, but it was my birthday, and my mom went to my mom's house for the week, and my birthday was on the Monday or Tuesday, and I was there Saturday. And they want to open up your gifts. I said, no, it's not my birthday yet, because I'm 44 and really don't care about my birthday anymore. But she was super excited, so I did wait till the Monday of my birthday, and he opened it up, and it was a Switch 2. And wow, I wasn't expecting that at all. But I know there's been some stuff going on, so I think maybe she just felt bad. So, here's this is for all the stuff you've been doing. Wow. Yeah, and it was the one that had Mario Kart, and I was surprised at the size of it because it is. I have the OLED Switch now, and it's bigger than that. I wish it was an OLED screen, but the screen is really nice. I mean, it's higher res, and you can kind of tell. It's just faster in general. Even especially going back to the Wii U, whenever you try to do anything online or start it up, it took forever. The Switch took a little longer too. This is just snappy. It does the store quick. It did the downloads quick. I had my Switch with me, which was cool because I was able to do the system transfer, and that was super quick. I mean, they had to download everything that was on there overnight because I do most of my stuff digitally, but the actual system transfer itself had to be less than a half hour, maybe even 15 minutes. It was just fast, and I was into playing Mario Kart, which the newest Mario Kart's always the best Mario Kart, more or less. So, I mean, I'm definitely enjoying that too. I didn't really. It was fun playing it there, but when I got it home and hooked it up to the TV and was actually playing Mario Kart in 4K, that's when I'm it's about time. It really was beyond time. I just wish they would have waited maybe a month longer so there were more games out for it. I'm really excited for the new Donkey Kong game, but it doesn't come out till July. So right now I got Mario Kart, and I was looking at the other stuff, and there's nothing really. I picked up a remake of, is it called Rodea? I think it's called Rodea. Raidu Remastered. It's like an Atlas RPG thing, but again, it's just old and it's a remake of a offshoot of the Shin Megami Tensei thing. So that might be fun, and I'll probably go through. And we were talking about this before too. I picked up that that last game by the Danganronpa people, so I'll probably play that on the Switch too, and get through that now that I'm done. The other one, I like playing more than one game at a time. So now that Indiana Jones is done, I can start doing it again. But what else was cool is I have that whatever the highest Nintendo online thingy is. So I got the 2 Zelda updates for free, the two $10 updates, and they're supposed to be nice. So I may actually go through and try playing Tears of the Kingdom again too with the new. Is it Tears of the Kingdom? Yeah,
that's the
with the new updates to see how that goes.
I was going to say, is it supposed to be like crisper graphics,
Yeah,
speedier?
it's upgraded to 4K, 60 frames per second. I think it's 60. It's locked to whatever it is. So there's the old one had some stutter. This is supposed to have no stutter at all, and it's just supposed to be like a perfect playing experience. I was also looking into this is Nintendo being Nintendo. There was also a free update to Splatoon 3. I'm like, oh, I like Splatoon. Let's see. I don't have Splatoon 3, but I have Splatoon 1 and 2. Splatoon 3 came out in 2022. It's still $52 on Amazon new. And the cheapest I could find it for used on eBay was $45. And I don't want to spend that. So I'm going to wait on that until I can get that a little cheaper. So, because I don't know what the online thing for Splatoon 3 is anymore either. So I would just be getting it for the first person, the single player stuff. So I can wait. I got such a backlog of games anyway. But I did like the first 2 Splatoons. I don't know why I never picked up the third one. Now I'm picking up myself.
Well, so with Tears of the Kingdom, there's also an app you can get for your phone, and you can load pre-built things that people upload. Like, people are building all kinds of crazy stuff and then uploading it to this app.
They're actually part of the Nintendo app. Like, if you fire it up and link it to your other thing, it's like a side app inside of the Nintendo app. They're trying to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but
same thing. It's got I don't know if it's Tears of the Kingdom has it. Breath of the Wild has that map thing where it shows you all the places you've been or how you can get there. That's inside of that app now too.
Okay, so that's in there for Tears of the Kingdom too. Have you guys ever heard of the YouTuber Austin John?
Mm-mm.
No.
So he does a lot of Nintendo based videos and stuff like that, and he very big into Pokemon, very big into Zelda, and he said that playing Zelda with that upgrade is his favorite game that he has played this year. Out of
Really?
he said out of any game he's played this year, that is now his favorite game with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom with that update. So if that's anything to go by, and he's that's one of the things that I'm eventually going to do is I want to get the online again, and Peyton has Tears of the Kingdom for his Switch, so I might have to play that. I still haven't, although I guess I should beat Breath of the Wild first since I haven't finished that. But
it was my thing. The Breath of the Wild, I'd spent so much time playing it and loving the experience, and then when Tears of the Kingdom came out, it was like playing part 2 of a very good movie to me, just the way that it carried on. But I could certainly see, upping the experience graphically, just the playability of it going up. I could see that making it a good one. It's a fun, both of them are great games and completely their own right. I just I spent much more time playing Breath of the Wild than I did Tears.
Yeah. I've been playing. I played a lot of Mario Kart with Peyton, so I haven't really played much on my own account. We've been unlocking stuff on his, and I think I might have unlocked maybe 2 people on mine, if that. But I've been playing Pokemon again on it, and it's completely changed my opinion on Scarlet and Violet, whereas when they first came out, they were completely broken and just a mess of a game. And there's still some graphical hitches here and there, but by and large, it's completely changed and it's made it a much more playable game. It seems more like how can I put this? So like before, there was a limit on how many Pokemon could be in the world at a time, and now that limit has been increased greatly. So the world feels more alive. You see all different kinds of Pokemon all over the place. Like there was a point where I was in this lake, and there's these fish Pokemon that swim at you real fast. And as soon as I would get done with one battle, before I could even get away, the other ones were hitting me. And it was boom, 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 boom. There were just so many there. And it's like that in every area you go to. There's just so many Pokemon. So it's really improved the gameplay on that.
Mario Kart, just to go back to real quick, they've upped it so there's 24 racers on the course at a time now, which is also awesome.
Have you played knockout mode yet?
Not yet. No, I just been on the courses. I played a little bit of the off track, whatever the hell they call the open world.
Oh, the open world one?
And that's kind of neat because you can like almost like Breath of the Wild. If you can see part of the track or whatever, you can get to it. So you can explore the tracks on your own, looking for the shortcuts and stuff like that. And there's certain, like, as you go through, you can find little, sometimes they're P blocks, sometimes they're other things to give you goals to do, so you can get new stickers for your car.
Yeah.
So
no, it's a real fun. The game's real fun, and there's a lot to do. I really like the knockout tour mode. That was my favorite so far. I hope that they add more battle modes, because they took the Shine Thief out, and they took I forget the other modes they knocked out. The Cops and Robbers mode they took out from Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, that was probably my kid's favorite too.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they add them in an update, but even if they don't, there's just so much to do in that game that it's hard to argue with it.
Well, that Mario Kart's always evolving too. You know, they, other than as far as like talking about like battle mode, the only one that was consistent was Balloon Blast or whatever that's been the most consistent version of battle mode in Mario Kart series for the last almost since the dawn of the series, right?
Yeah, I think it started. Yeah, because that was in the first one, right?
Yeah. So, but it always evolves. So there's different things that have switched in and out over the years with it. No, I really want to grab it. I'm still gonna probably maybe try to hold till Christmas. The more whenever Rich, you mentioned you got yours, and I know Bob, you got yours on release. I started looking, but then I was like, I have an outstanding order for tires on my camper, which turned out to be right at $600. So,
who needs tires?
Yeah,
tires are overrated.
Yeah. I'm thankful that it was a friend of the family, so it came in a little cheaper than what I was hoping, but still, $600 for 3 tires, because I have a single axle trailer, but I wanted to cover my spare. But just so happens to be roughly what I probably would have spent for the Switch too. So
fair enough.
It like I was just at a Target. It was either Target or Walmart. They're still on the floor. Like they're still relatively easy to find, I should say.
Yeah, I actually just stepped into our Walmart earlier, and I thought about it, and I was like, I just can't.
A lot of people are saying that when Donkey Kong comes out, there's a lot of expectations that they're going to restock the systems then too. What
that makes sense.
I'm sorry.
I said that makes sense. Donkey Kong looks. I wasn't sold on Donkey Kong when it first got announced, but after that direct, dude, I gotta get it.
What was hard to find was a case to put it in. They were sold out everywhere. I actually had to. I picked it up yesterday, and I ordered it when I got the Switch too. The $90 Pro 2 controller which I don't even think I needed, but I bought it anyway because I'm a dick.
It's nice.
I know.
It's so nice.
I haven't even used it yet. It's like sitting on my counter charging, and I just gotta get rid of it.
Dude, you gotta use it. That like I was floored by that.
I didn't think it'd be. I did a lot of research into the memory card, and apparently there's only a couple companies making it now. There's only 2 companies making a 1 terabyte one. It's Lexar and, strangely enough, GameStop. But GameStop isn't making their own, so it's probably just a rebranded Lexar. But they're constantly sold out, so you can't get them anywhere. So the next cheapest one, or the next best option anyway, is a 512 gig card from Walmart. And Walmart tends to have it in stock if you try to get it there. But that was surprising. But that said, apparently that's one of the things that make this quick is it's just, I think it's like 5. I forget what the read rate speed of these things are, but it's impressive. Almost like it's not as fast as an NVMe drive, but it's, I guess, along the same kind of thing.
You're talking about the expansion cards for those. Let's see, read write speed for Switch 2 card. Let's check it out.
Called a Micro SD Express.
Okay, so they'll read. Okay, so it reads at 900 megs a second and writes at 600 megs a second. Yeah. So that's pretty good.
Oh, it is fucking nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
one thing I have not yet picked up.
Yeah, definitely nowhere near NVMe though. That's
by the time it got done downloading all my stuff, I was almost out of drive space on just the Switch 2 when I did the system transfer. So it's like, okay, I got to go find one of these. And then I told you I bought that game off of Amazon, the whatever the hell the Atlas game was, and I didn't do a lot of looking into the Switch 2 stuff before I got it, but the thing came in and I looked at it and it says it's just a key card. Apparently it downloads the whole thing, but you need this plugged in there. So it's just like the discs for the PS5. It's going to install it anyway, but you have to keep the disc in there to play the game.
So here's the deal. There's two different types of game cards for the Switch 2. There's the 64 gigabyte ones that every Nintendo first party game will be on, and certain third party games like Cyberpunk, the entire game is on the 64 gig card. Then same thing with all the first party Nintendo games. They're all going to be on the 64 gig card. And then if the company doesn't want to use the 64 gig card, they have to use this key card, which is, they're calling them game key cards. And they have a little key on them, and it says a little thing on the front. And I will not buy a single fucking game that comes on that piece of shit because there's no fucking point to it. Ooh, look, I own a key card. It can go in my Switch, and I still have to download the fucking thing.
You own a Miko card.
Yeah, it's no. Oh God! Wait, there's more. There's more on Amico. We've got shit to talk about with Amico too, because more shit came out about that. But let's get through our Switch stuff first. But yeah, that's the only reason I haven't bought any other, like, I didn't buy any third party games for the Switch 2 because almost all of them are on the fucking key cards, and I refuse to buy it.
Yeah, no, that's I hate it because it's almost Nintendo was like, the last one standing, if you will, for having. Now, granted, there's digital releases for the Switch to no end. It's not like every game. I'm not trying to sit here and act like every game was released physically, right? But there's certain games that you expect to be released physically, especially for a Nintendo system. So, they're still doing card-based things after all these years. It's like, hey, I want the full card. I want the card, or at least, pretend, I guess. I don't know. It's insane to me that that's where they're at now.
So third-party companies have even come out and said, especially the ones that have done it on the game key cards, they've come out and said the sales for our games on the Nintendo Switch 2 were below even our lowest expectations. Well, assholes, maybe if you gave us the game on the fucking card, you would have sold better, because I would have bought Bravely Default, the remaster of that. and I would have at least bought Tetris or Puyo Puyo Tetris, and I would have looked at Yakuza because I wanted Yakuza for it. But I'm not going to buy a fucking game key card. Those are 3 games right there. That's and
the games for free on the PlayStation Store thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of those games are for free on the
Somewhere in my basement, I have I think it's a PS4, maybe a PS3 case. That's DuckTales, and when you open it up, it's just a pin and a download code.
Yeah, fuck that too. That was some bullshit.
If we're gonna do something like that, it needs to either be complete full physical copy. Granted, we're in the world now where there's going to be updates. I understand that,
right?
But the other side of it's like, okay, let's just do digital download then. Forget it. Like,
so here's the deal: Nintendo doesn't want them to just put. Like, I know that even on the Nintendo Switch, the original one, there were some games that came like, and I've seen it, and I don't get it, but I've seen it, like Mario and Rabbids, the original Mario and Rabbids game.
Mm-hmm.
When it first came out, it was on the Switch cartridge, right?
Yeah, I have that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now there's copies out there that I see at Walmart that say full game download included, and it's just the download code inside the case because Nintendo wants to have cases on the shelves as physical representations for their games because they want people to be able to wrap them and give them because they feel like, oh, well, you know what? Giving a digital download code is pretty shitty for a kid that, for their birthday or for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to open a digital download?
I get it. But in the same sense, too, I think with the current generation of where, and especially with where gaming's at, I mean, you give a kid a Roblox card or a Steam card, Nintendo's had their own gift cards for a long time. I get where they're coming from, but I don't know that it matters a whole lot anymore, because of the realm of gaming that exists these days. I know Nintendo tries to still play the old school thing. That's why I'm just saying, I think that if they're going to have a physical thing, have a physical game. That's fine.
Yeah.
I want it. We all want that.
I don't know why I'm pointing, but I'm pointing. The only 2 games my nephews play are Fortnite and Minecraft, and neither of them have a physical release. And then I think, I mean, at least for PC gaming, Steam's still the most popular, or it's got to be the most popular platform. And then we just got that large Steam library when you open it up that everyone's proud of because they pick everything up for $1 or whatever it's on sale.
I must be like one of the only gamers left that just doesn't have, like, I have a Steam account, and I know I have at least Portal 2 because when I got Portal 2 for the PS3, it came with the Steam copy. And that, like, I think I might have like a couple other games that I got in a bundle with, like, when I did like a Humble bundle, and they came with Steam games in addition to like PS3 or whatever games. But I don't have a Steam library because I don't like digital games.
I have to speak on this real quick because I did actually texted Bob this about a week ago. So Rich, I launched Steam for my Chromebook. It's in beta right now. So I was curious to see how this would work. So ran it through my personal account just to see what would happen. Installed Steam on my Chromebook and launched SimCity 4 and it crashed. And then I launched Spore and it crashed. But then I launched Jackbox 5 and it ran perfectly. Now, granted, you're not talking about a whole lot going on. I understand it because it's you're basically playing from other devices, but you still have to have the main machine to run, your host, if you will. And it ran perfectly fine. And there was another game, and it missed. I cannot remember the title, but it's another Spore-like environment creature type game that Tommy launched on it, and it worked fine. And they were playing it. I'll be honest, I just cannot remember the title of the game offhand. So we were 2 for 4, but did not like the Maxis games at all. So it said, Will Wright? No, not yet.
Well, I haven't had a Windows PC in forever, but I have a couple games in the Steam library. I that's where I had what's that game where you play a cartoon and you're shooting things and there's little bendy guys, and it was really big a couple of years ago. It's like
Oh,
shooter.
Cuphead.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only place to play that for a while. The only place where I could play it. So
Yeah, I've got that one too, Rich. So
yeah. But I actually have a Windows PC now that I have in my garage that's slow and shit. But I installed Steam on that just to see what I had that I could play. And I finally have a Mac that's capable of playing. If I wanted to install Parallels, which I haven't done yet, I could run Steam and Parallels fine. But I think there's supposed to be a Silicon Steam client coming out soon now too, just like for the Chrome one. And maybe there'll be more Mac-based game or play more stuff on the Mac. But I really don't play games on the Mac, so that's why I got the consoles.
yeah, and Steam's because Steam will show like
Yeah.
OS compatibility pretty easily, and so anything for the Chromebook, if anyone actually listens to this and is interested, it'll show the Linux compatibility, and it has to have that, for it to even entertain working. But it's flat out says it's in beta, so whether the compatibility is there or not, I mean, we all know beta sometimes is not going to work. So, but no, it's been fun to play with because I actually have 2 Windows PCs in the house. One's the one Danielle uses, and it's a nice system. It's got some age to it now. It's 5 years old, but it's nice. It'll hold up for a little while longer. And the other one I have is something I had built and then I rebuilt it. It's right at 12 years old. It's showing its age, and it'll only run certain things. But it's the one that I just have Tommy beat up. So he plays, BeamNG and Teardown and stuff like that on it. But I don't personally game Windows anymore, which is crazy because that's what I did for a lot of years. I don't sit behind it anymore. So I'd love to, but I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
shoot, the only game I still play on any of my computers is Baseball Simulator, or not Baseball Simulator,
Baseball Mogul.
Baseball Mogul, yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking back to our conversation about you playing.
Dude, well, it was funny because I was looking at it, looking for copies of it on Steam, but they're all Windows based. And I think the most recent one that I could find was 18. That was free, maybe on Steam anyway. And again, I might be misspeaking here, but there was none that were Linux based. So I'm like, crap, I can't play. Which I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that game's always been Windows based and always will be Windows based.
Yeah.
Now you might be able to get Steam running under Wine. I think it's supposed to run well under Wine.
Yeah, I actually did Wine doing on my Chromebook because the Linux is Debian on a Chromebook. So I installed Wine through the terminal that way, and I messed with it before, and I got like some weird things working, like an old version of Microsoft Office, and just to see, to mess with it.
Gotcha,
And at one time, I had Heroes of Might and Magic 2 running through Wine. But that was about as far as I could get with gaming. And I'm like, this game's like almost 30 years old. Like,
I was just playing with DOSBox again because I wanted to play the Sherlock Holmes, the original Jack the Ripper game, the one from the DOS days, obviously, this is DOSBox. And it still worked. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I was playing it through the GOG, the Good Old Games client, because you can install that through it. And it worked about a year or so ago, and I tried to reinstall it, and it didn't work this time. So I'm like, I got frustrated, and I kind of gave up on it.
GOG just wraps things around Wine and DOSBox, so you're kind of using their wrappers,
Yeah, and I kind of got frustrated because I'm like, I'm sure I've got some, line of code that's out, and I'm like, I just don't really care enough. I just don't.
Did you guys see that Sega is delisting all of their games for iOS and for Android? So right now they're free in the app stores.
Really?
And so the Shining Force collection, Crazy Taxi, Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe. There's like all these collections that you can go and download right now for free, and they'll continue to work ad free and payment free. It was the paid versions.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Classic. No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, I'm installing that right now. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
So speaking of stuff that's going to disappear at some point, did you guys see that the Amico is still supposedly in the works?
No, it's not. You're just making stuff up.
Nope. So they've announced that Phineas Fox and Evil Knievel, which were free to play phone games, are
isn't Phineas Fox Billie Eilish's brother that does all the music with her?
Yes, I believe he is.
Yes.
No, but they're releasing them on the Switch 2, which, if you remember correctly, the reason that they were creating the Amico is because there were games about rape and child molestation on the Switch 2 or on the Switch. So I guess maybe they went away with the Switch 2. So it's family friendly now. But they're releasing on the Switch 2 and on the PS5. They did. But they're releasing on the Switch 2, PS5, Xbox, PC, everywhere, and they're still plugging away at getting that home console made.
Well, did you hear why they're putting them out there so they could get the money to put into the console, even though they had that $17 million crowdfund, whatever the hell it was. So yeah.
You know what they're doing is they waited for the Switch 2 to come out. So now they're going to have a bunch of people turn the Switch in. So they're just going to buy a bunch of old Switches and cross it out and then put Amico and be like, here you go. That's
true. That's a good point.
I mean, they're like, hey, we found the easiest, cheapest way to develop hardware. Have Nintendo done it, we're just going to cross out the name, resell it, we're good to go.
That makes as much sense as them actually continuing to try to make it.
I mean, I know we talked a lot of gaming. I do want to talk a couple things about what y'all are watching. Rich, Bob, what are you guys watching right now? I'm just curious because I'm kind of immersed in some 90s action movies. That's my jam right now these last couple days. So
the only thing I've really watched is Resident Alien, the season opening for season 4. It's a couple weeks behind, I guess, on Peacock. So I've still got. There's an episode that dropped yesterday I got to watch. Aside from that, I mean, that's really the only thing I've been doing if I'm not playing the Switch 2 right now is watching YouTube videos. I'm not even really, and then I'm watching eBay to see how much higher Gravity Falls goes before I sell it.
Rich, what about you, man? What are you watching? Anything good?
Well, we took the nephews to the movies to see Lilo and Stitch, and I liked that. That was one of my favorite Disney cartoons too, and it's just a live. I mean, it's not quite 1-to-1, but very close. It was very good. I do think they could have got a bigger black guy to play Mr. Bubbles or Agent Bubbles or whatever the hell his name is. He was just a little too old and skinny looking, which kind of missed the joke when his name is supposed to be Bubbles. But it was good other than that. Like I said, I spent a lot of time with my mom. We watched the live action remake of Snow White, which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was expecting a train wreck. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a live action remake. It was what it was. I like the dwarves. They kept the dwarves exactly the same for anybody who was worried about them not using dwarves or whatever. And then they tried to empower her a little bit, so she was the hero, which is fine. I mean, is what it is. I liked it. And then I'm watching Rick and Morty, but I don't know if I'm enjoying it. It's just for some reason it doesn't feel as smart as it was in the past. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It could just be me getting old and jaded because I am 44 now. So I just
Well, how much has it changed? Like, I haven't watched it in a while because I don't have like normal TV. So how much has it changed since Justin Roiland left?
I don't think it was a Justin Roiland thing. I think it's just took too long between seasons and lost its edge magic, I guess. I don't know. It's like I said, it could just be me too, so it's hard to say without getting anybody else's opinion. I just don't I mean, I'm still watching it, but I don't know if, like I said, I'm really whatever. Oh, and I don't have it. What you got to do, Bob, is look up something called Sonar and then get a news group account, and then it just downloads the shit for you automatically. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh, nice.
And then you install Plex or whatever there's an open source version of Plex people like to. I'm trying to think what else. I was watching, and I'm very slowly, and I mentioned this before, I've fallen in love with the works of Gerry Anderson. And these things are just, it's like a fucking fever dream. They're all from the 60s, or slightly newer. It's those puppets. Not all of it are puppets, because Space 1999 and UFO aren't puppets. They're just weird sci-fi. But it's just these retro-futuristic sci-fi shows. Space 1999 is the most straight one. It's just like it's Star Trek, but it's made by British people, and it looks kind of like 2001. So it's but it's seriouser. UFO is also live action, but it's like there's a line of defense on the moon looking for UFOs that are coming towards Earth to try to get rid of them. But for some reason, all the people that are on the moon are wearing silver bikinis and these pink wigs that are weird. And all the people on Earth are wearing super tight 60s outfits to show off camel toe. And it's just, I can't believe that. These were both on U.S. television too. But the other ones were, some of the other ones weren't. Fireball XL5 is the one I'm really enjoying. That's the one where it's just Space Patrol puppets. That's from like 1958, somewhere around there. It's black and white, and the aliens are just fucked up. And it's the woman's a doctor, but every once in a while they hear comments like, "Well, you do really good for a woman," or "I want a woman pilot my ship, but you're okay," stuff like that, because it's the 50s. And then you go up a little bit and you get the one everyone's heard of is Thunderbirds, because they redid Thunderbirds in the 90s, and they played road. So it's the same guy with some of the same concepts. But even in Thunderbirds, like, they all have their own vehicles, and the vehicles are all kind of cool space looking things. And there's this weird British chauffeur that's kind of like weird. It's just creepy, because they're those puppets that almost look like people. And as they go up, the technology is called super marionation. So they lip sync the puppets' mouths with what the people are saying. And this is done electronically. So in the beginning, all the puppets have these giant heads and little bodies, because they have to put all the mechanics and stuff inside of the heads for them to talk. But then as it goes on, you see they figured out how to miniaturize stuff. So they start looking more and more like people, till you get to Joe 90's, this other one that I think I mentioned before, where it's this little kid, and the dad is a scientist who figures out a way to record people's minds and put their memories into the kid's head. And the kid uses this to become a secret agent. So it's like, hey, the Reds built this airplane. We want you to go steal this fighter jet. We recorded this guy's mind. We're going to put this in your head, so now you're going to know how to fly a fighter jet. Or we're going to let you know how to pilot a submarine, or whatever the kid needs to do to whatever. But they look like almost like real people, except the one thing they never figured out is how to make these things walk like a person walks. So they go out of their way to show them not walking. Yeah, like in Fireball, they ride these jet scooters, and other ones, You see them flash, like you'll see real people walk for a minute, and then it'll go back to the puppets, and it's supposed to be whatever. And it's just they got weirder as they went on. And he's got like 5 of these series. It's Fireball, Thunderbirds, Supercar, about a car that can do super stuff. Haven't watched that one yet. Stingray, which takes place underwater. And there's like Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons. That is we go to Mars because we see there's, or whatever planet, because we see there's aliens there. And the aliens start to scan the people that are there, so the people fire on the Martians and blow them up. Then the Martians are able to rebuild themselves and say, what the fuck? Why did you attack us? We're just here. We're going to wipe out all life on Earth and your planet. And they take 2 of the agents from the Captain Scarlet things and turn them into sleeper agents. And one of them awakens out of the sleeper agent thing, but he gains the power where he can't die. So they send him on missions where every mission he dies in some horrible way, but he's able just to, rejuvenate or whatever. So it's just weird shit like that. And this has just been fun. Like, I don't know what else to watch. Let's put on an episode of one of these.
Hey, have you been keeping up with Doctor Who at all?
No.
Because that's something I gotta start looking at again, because apparently
Rose is going to be the I've read news.
Yeah. Apparently David Tennant came back and Billy Piper's back, but Billy Piper is now the Doctor.
Yeah, apparently in the last episode of the last season, they regenerated into Billy Piper.
Yeah. So I need to catch back up. I'm out of the loop.
But no, Rich actually pitched a great idea to us a couple weeks ago. We're going to hit it. A little precursor. What we're going to do for our next episode is talk some B horror movies. So we'll hit that. And I've been so busy, and I really haven't watched a lot. The last couple of days, I just dove deep into back into some '90s action movies. So just over the last couple of days, I watched.
I'm going to recommend one. I don't know. It might be on Netflix. I watched it on Prime a couple of years ago, but it's not free anymore on Prime. It's called The Girl Who Lived Down the Lane. The Little Girl Who Lived Down the Lane. It's Jodie Foster, and I thought it was Charlie Sheen, but it's not Charlie Sheen. It's actually his dad. It's Martin Sheen. And Martin Sheen tries to put advances on a underage Jodie Foster, which apparently happened a lot. Because wasn't the whole plot of Taxi Driver too? But anyway, there might be, like, she may or may not have killed her parents, and he may know that, so he tries to well, I'm gonna turn you in if you don't do stuff to me, and I'm Martin Sheen, and it's weird. It's a B horror movie. I think it fits.
Yeah, we'll have to. We're gonna dive into some of our favorite B horror movies. I'm looking forward to that.
It just came up again in a feed somewhere of I think just what you're saying of B horror movies. That's what had me thinking of. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna dive deep into that. I'm looking forward to that. But no, I watched Die Hard 2 and 3 and Demolition Man. And the one that really stuck with me, because and I've seen these movies multiple times, but I rewatched Escape from L.A. And I love Escape from New York. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
But Escape from LA was it's different. It's 12 years later, as far as when it was made. Parts of it, it's just campy as all get out. The whole surfing scene is still so campy to me. But the crazy thing, and I really wasn't paying attention too much the first several times I watched it, was to the soundtrack. And I'm not talking about the score. I'm talking about, some of the music included. So I'm listening last night, and I'm like, okay, this sounds like some new metal rap. Who is this? And I look it up, and it's like Sugar Ray. Like what? And so that's when I learned that Sugar Ray, their first album release, was not like the Sugar Ray we all associate with. And I completely forgot about that. So then I was like, who else is on this soundtrack? And then it was just like a virtual who's who of bands back then of that era, of the Stabbing Westward, Tool, White Zombie, Toadies, Butthole Surfers, Gravity Kills, Ministry, Orange 9mm, Clutch, Civ, name others. And then finally at the bottom is Deftones. the thing is, and all the way also let's throw some Tori Amos in there as well. It's such a deep, like regular soundtrack or inspired by. I just could not believe it. Like, but it makes sense though. That thing was a summer blockbuster, so of course you're gonna have. But I mean, really looking back on it, all those bands pretty much really did pretty good numbers over the years. So I don't know. The Sugar Ray thing really threw me for a loop because I forgot like where they were at. I was like, boy, this is a lot different than every morning.
Yeah. Well, that's what's funny is everybody bought their first hit album because I think their first album was called Lemonade or something like that.
Yeah, Lemonade and Brownies.
Yeah, Lemonade and Brownies, and then they came out with the one that Fly was on, and Fly is the only song on that album that sounds like that. Everything else is new metal stuff.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because that's how I got that album. That's actually how I got that album. Was somebody bought it and they were like, oh, "What the hell? I thought it was going to be all like Fly. I don't want this piece of shit." I'll take it.
I honestly was Sugar Ray was always one of those to me that I've always associated with the pop side. So I kind of disassociated myself for the most part. So I just never. And then I was like, what is this? Like,
wasn't Fountain Wayne's like that too? Didn't they have like Stacy's Mom was the only song on that album that sounded like Stacy's Mom? The rest of it was all.
Fountains of Wayne is more. They're more like, they're more like indie type, late like almost acoustic rock. And then you have Stacy's Mom.
Tom mentioned Die Hard 3 too. That just turned 30, I think. Like just turned 30.
Yep.
The other thing going back, and it really fits in well with the B movie things and Escape from LA. Johnny Mnemonic just celebrated like its 30th anniversary too, and that's a fucking great movie. Not a good movie, but a great movie.
Yeah.
I need to see that. I actually have never seen it.
Oh, that's got
Keanu Reeves,
Henry Rollins as a street preacher, and Keanu Reeves, Dolph Lundgren. It's got who's the one who plays Molly? The girl that was in Wild Thing, Dina Meyer. Dina Meyer plays Molly. It's because he's got like something like 80 gigs in his head, and it went over the 80 gigs. Something stupid small. That was great. The book was good. The movie was just fun.
And Escape from LA, outside of being John Carpenter, the Surgeon General, man. Bruce Campbell, man. Like it's crazy. And I love the one thing I do like about Escape from LA is that they also bring back Stacy Keach. And really both Kurt Russell and Stacy Keach do not look like they've aged from Escape from New York to LA. And like I said, they were filmed 12 years apart. No Ernest Borgnine, so that always bothered me.
And no Isaac Hayes because they killed him.
Yeah. I mean, but no, that's the tough part for me is like, it's funny thinking about some of these movies like Escape from New York. I will always love a lot more, but that came out the same time as the original Terminator. But I always loved Terminator 2 quite a bit more than I did the original. It's just funny how you are with things and that. But now we're going to do B horror movies. I think it'll be fun. We'll get that going sometime here in the next week or so. We'll talk about our favorites and maybe some of our not so favorites. And anyone have any closing words here?
Well, we haven't said anything that would get us beeped yet. So,
Jesus Christ, Richard!